Hi, howdy. How are we today? Another video. I don't know how long I'll be doing this. I'm going to try to make it some sort of a routine, whether it be daily or weekly or whatever. We'll see what I can keep up with. Who knows? The last little hiatus, well, the last hiatus I had was 9 months. Expect that. Expect that to happen. Whenever I run out of energy to do some sort of a project, I tend to just drop it on its ass, right? But and my brain stopped. Boy, I love that. But and completely opposite statement is my brain doesn't stop, right? My brain dropped whatever I was thinking of there, but it tends to pick something up afterwards. Um, I've had so many ideas, so many thoughts, so many things over the past day and a half that I just want to say or do or talk about. And most of the time, by the time I sit down, I either don't have the motivation, I don't have the energy, or I don't have the want to do it, right? Even on the drive back home today, I've thought of several different things that I want to talk about, such as like stress, such as music, such as, right now my brain's not giving me the other three that I thought of. Oh, such as doing this kind of stuff, and how I'm remembering or now realizing just how long I've wanted to do something like this. Right? Because I can remember myself as a child. Like, I have a very, I don't want to say showboaty nature, but a very eccentric kind of how I do things, right? How I talk comes very much from this want to do something like this. I've been talking to myself for forever, essentially. Which back in my day, whenever I was a child, that literally labeled you as crazy, so I had to hide that. Now it's, been deemed appropriate and okay, and now it's important for internal processing of information, which kind of wild that that's how it's deemed now. But I'm going to say it's how I did it, right? I always imagined myself on like a talk show, right? To where I would be talking to somebody, answering questions, doing something like that, and that's just kind of how my cadence is now. Um, Especially whenever it comes to stuff like this. Maybe it's not picked up too much through this, but that's how I feel about it. And I realized here right before I walked inside that this is something that I've like kind of geared myself towards and wanted to do for a long time. Um, so we're gonna see kind of how it goes. Like I said, energy depending, motivation depending, because that's kind of what gears most of my life is I need to be motivated to do something. I need to have the energy to do something, and I run out of energy very quickly, a lot of the times. But also, I've learned that if I find a routine with something, such as I've started, the reason that I'm even making this now is because I started having a routine where I'm sending videos back and forth with one of my cousins, and this is just kind of me expanding upon that a little bit, right? To where hopefully, because of that routine with him, I can start another routine here with this. Um, but I guess where's my brain at? I'm going to say a lot of the thoughts that I had are just vacant right now. And it's another reason that I struggle with doing these things, right? It's because whenever I actually sit down to do them, all of the thoughts that I had that were rushing and swarming and boiling and toiling around in my brain just vanish. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And now I'm at a loss and I'm all like, how do I go from having a million thoughts a second to just head empty? It's super frustrating and very stressful, especially whenever I go to, like I said, to do something and it's just everything that I needed for it is just no longer there. Um, yeah, that this kind of sucks. I feel almost like I need to stop this recording here, give my brain a couple of seconds or minutes to get on task, and then try again. So I've given myself a couple of minutes to sit down and digest, and I've realized that I guess what I'm going to talk about is just I always just power through. That is what I do. That is what I know. That is who and how I am. That whenever it comes to doing something or being someone or having something or just having something that needs done, it is no matter what, I just get it done, right? Most of the time, I don't have a plan. There's a lot of people that like to ask, right? Where whenever they ask, that's typically whenever I come up with a plan, some sort of a plan of attack, being like, oh, so how are we going to tackle this? I'll typically be like, well, I've done something like this in the past, and I've tried this and this and this, so I'm going to try those, and if those don't work, I'm going to flounder. I'm going to just play or roll around in the mud until I figure something out, right? And a lot of what my issues come down to is like I have a lot of trouble starting things, and the power through mentality is kind of what gets me going, right? To where I have a lot of, I'm going to say, anxiety, to where whether it be some sort of choice paralysis or whatever, to where like I'll be sitting there, and if I'm thinking about an issue too much, I will just not do it. The more that I think about something, the less likely I am to act. And it's as soon as I catch myself overthinking, as soon as I catch myself going, oh, I don't know about this or this or this, I stop thinking and I just take a step forward. That it doesn't matter what it is, the first thing that comes to mind is the thing that I do. And that's what helps me get through things. That's what helps me start things, because the important part is starting, not finishing, because you can't finish something that you never start, right? And even if you do the wrong thing first, you've at least done something, so now you're in the middle of it, right? You're now doing that thing. And that's just kind of the mentality that I've had. I sat here and I was stuck for a couple minutes, and then I went and made a whole another ending to this video, a whole other piece to it. It was like 11 minutes long about stress and the current stress levels that I'm at and the things that I'm going through. And I didn't really like that, right? And it's not because like I don't want to be like open. I don't really care about being open typically. Like if I get to talking, I will just talk about what I'm going through or what have you. I don't mind that. But it's just that it's like very down. It's very depressing and it doesn't really add anything to anything, right? And I would like people to see this and be all like, oh, hey, I can take something from this. You know, maybe take a part of what I said and try to apply it to themselves and maybe help themselves out of something, help themselves through something. Or if they have an issue such as, like I said, like being paralyzed through anxiety and then not acting. The way that I get through it is by just doing something, because that's the important part. Not making a choice is still a choice, and people really need to recognize that. It's not a jab at anybody, and I'm not trying to call anybody out, but it's just a thing that I see because I also go through it. That I end up just being frozen in the moment and then not making a choice, and then because I didn't make a choice, something happens, right? So I'd rather make the wrong choice and then move to fix it and then look to make the correct choice than just do nothing. Unless doing nothing is what I think is the appropriate choice, which a lot of times is. Because there's a lot of drama, there's a lot of issues, there's a lot of things that will come up in life, and I have to sit and decide, do I want to expend energy on this? 9 times out of 10, the energy that I choose to expend is listening to people vent, right? Like if there's two people currently going through something, I almost always end up playing the fence and listening to both of them. And I don't choose a side. Instead, I just am the person that they both vent to, right? And if I see that there is a misconception or like if I see that it's a misunderstanding, I will communicate the misunderstanding to the both of them, saying, hey, I'm pretty sure that this person meant it this way, you took it this way. I can go confirm, or you can go confirm with them if that is what happened, and then I will try to rectify the situation that way. But if that isn't what the situation is, I tend to just let them vent to me, right? I'm not going to choose a side. I'm not going to sit here and be all like, oh, well, you're wrong. This person's this. No. Instead, I'm just going to be the person that they can complain to, and that's how I would rather spend my energy, is being the person helping them calm down from the situation than choose a side and then that other person is now fucked because they were wrong. Um, that's just how I tend to play the field. And I know a lot of people don't like people that do that. They don't like the fence sitters, right? They don't like the people that don't choose. And I can just say, I apologize. That's who I am. That's how I do things. Unless there is a reason to act, like if I think I can fix a situation, I will act. But if not, I'm just going to let it play out how it plays out. Because most of the time during situations like that, the end result doesn't really matter. Like if it's drama between two good friends, they're going to work it out, right? It doesn't matter what's going on. If they're actually good friends that care about each other, whatever bump they just went through, they will work it out. And most of the time, they'll do it in their way, which is more beneficial to that pair. And if it's between two like strangers, that will never see each other again, sure, they'll be upset for a bit, but for the most part, it's not going to matter anyway. Like, yeah, they'll be upset for a couple days probably, but is it going to completely alter their life? No. It was just a random happenstance where they got into a screaming match at Walmart. Good for them. I'm not going to step into the middle of that. They can do what they can do, right? Unless it is being detrimental to other people, then I might. More than likely not, because again, if it's just two random strangers at Walmart screaming at each other, I'm probably just gonna be like, "What fucking idiots," and then see myself away from whatever altercation is ensuing. But if it's like someone that I care about in that screaming match, then I'm going to probably take them aside and be all like, "What was that? Why did we do that? That is not worth it. Why would you choose to expend your energy and mental health to such a capacity?" Um, and that's how I would do that one, because that other stranger, just like the person that I know, it shouldn't alter their mood in any lasting sense, right? The issue would then become if that is a frequent occurrence from the person I know, and if I could try to help them figure out what's going on and why they're being so confrontational, right? But all in all, looping it back around, I've learned to just be as headstrong as I can. Just whenever I pick and choose what things I choose to help with, the things that I choose to spend my energy on, because I am very low energy person and I take a long time to recover most of the time. Where if I spend all of my energy doing something for like a weekend, I will be recovering for the next week and a half. So I would rather just pick and choose the battles, the things that I see as important, the things that I might actually be able to change. And one of the things is that if I go in and I choose to start spending my energy to try to help something or to do something, and I see that I'm not going to be getting through to them, 9 times out of 10, I will just drop it, right? It's one of those, it's not just going to be okay, I'm done with this, and potentially stress them out. Instead, I would just be like, yeah, okay. Okay, yep, Not necessarily say that they're right, but I would just become more agreeable until the conversation dilutes and we move on to something else. Because I'm not going to fight a brick wall, right? You can't, what you call it, move the ocean. I don't remember that full saying at the moment. It'll probably come back to me later. But like fighting against the tide isn't worth it most of the time, unless it's something really important. But that's that. Even with my being headstrong, I do try to temper it because I don't want to waste what little energy I have. And even like right now with myself and a lot of stressful things going on, uh, damn it, I lost my brain again. Man, man, why do I always gotta lose my brain? I was doing so good this time, and now it's just gone. All right. Well, because I can't recover it, it's not coming back to me. I think I'm just gonna call this one here. Sorry for kind of blue balling the end there. I might just cut it. I'm not sure, but I apologize. But yeah, so I guess I'll see you guys later.